So welcome to an update of my swimming pool. So it's almost Christmas and I still haven't covered it up, which is not really a good thing. The heater, so I've got a 2 kilowatt heater on this tank running almost all the time at this point. It's a bit mild at the minute, so it's not been working so much, but on a night it's pretty much always on, which, you know, it's costing a lot of money in that, and I should have covered it up. I just haven't got around to it yet. The fish themselves are quite happy and doing quite well, but I guarantee if it didn't have that 2 kilowatt heater on it, it probably would have froze, because there's just no insulation in the tank itself. And you can see on a cold frosty night the fish actually sort of go over to this, because the water comes out of there and comes round here. The fish all move to that side here and go right to the bottom, so that's where the heat must be. I imagine over this side and near the actual sides of the tank could be quite cold, and they seem to stay away from it on a cold night. But it's been mild for the last couple of days, and they're sort of getting happier again and occasionally asking for food. But yeah, so can you run one of these swimming pools through winter? Yeah, but it's going to cost you a bit of money, because like I said, you really need that 2 kilowatt heater on. But hopefully I'm going to cover it up. I'm going to bubble wrap all around the sides. I'm going to make a little frame over the top and bubble wrap that, and hopefully it'll not need the heater as much then, and or maybe keep the temperature a little bit warmer. Not decided yet. I think I'll probably end up turning the heater off, because I don't want to be paying to run that. But you know, it really needs a cover over it, something to keep the heat in. So let's get on with it and see how we go. So to cover this pond up, I've got this big roll of bubble wrap. It's 1.5 meters wide and 50 meters long, so it should hopefully cover all that and keep the heat in. And these fish, as you can see, are still at about 18-20 degrees because they're indoors. There's no heating on them, but these ones are always sort of a month behind normal weather, so they'll start dropping about now in temperature. But yeah, these ones are eating fine. And then for those that are interested, my little fish at the back. They're definitely hungry, but they are heated. I've been keeping them at 22 degrees, something like that, because it's easy to do. Like the heater's not on at the minute, but it will be later probably. So let's get on with covering this pond. So here's what we're doing. I've got a little apex here and one over there, and then we're going to get a long piece of wood and put 3 of them. So we're going to put one from there to there, and then one from midway to midway point, and then same on the other side, midway to midway point, and then hopefully put the bubble wrap in between that. So yeah, coming on nicely. Nice apexes, should support quite well. And then obviously I've put it on top of the pond at the minute, but then when it's all finished I'm going to raise it up a little bit, just fractional it, and put its own leg in, so that it's not actually putting any pressure on the pond. So there we go. Unfortunately it's gone dark, but we've got sort of the basic frame set up. So you've got your apexes each side, and then the 3 beams to go across. Look at it on this angle. And then they span across there like that. And so there should be enough distance for the bubble wrap to come from here all the way over and down to here, and then start a new sheet to go over the sides there and there. So the apex should be nice and watertight for some reason. Don't want my fish getting wet, but there we go. Yeah, so that's that bit of frame done. We'll have to finish the rest of it off tomorrow. As I said, we're going to put some legs on it and probably put some little bits on the ends. So here we are. I've put a bit of mesh on top of it. As you can see, the mesh is incredibly tight, and I've done it so that it'll stop water sort of collecting on it, so the bubble wrap will sit on top of this, and hopefully it'll just keep it tighter and stop it sagging, and just let the water fall off quite easily. And hopefully, anyway, it's there. If not, it doesn't. Also, I've been thinking about snow, so what I'm thinking of doing is I've got this little old heater and I'm just going to mount this inside it, and if it snows, what I've done is I've screwed it to this piece of wood, and then I'm going to screw this piece of wood down to the frame and put it over there somewhere, over here, and hopefully it'll keep the snow from settling on it. If it does snow, I can come out and switch it on, because it'll probably hold quite a lot of weight in snow, this, so if it did snow it might do some damage. So yeah, that's why I'm putting that on. So there we go, got the little heater sat on its little stand, just there, look. Obviously that's not going to be on, it's just in case it snows sort of thing. Yeah, so time for bubble wrap. What I'm planning on doing is starting at the floor, going all the way up, over, and then down to the bottom again. I think that's going to be the best way to do it. And then another 2, so it should take 3 runs of bubble wrap to fully cover it. Yeah, should be good. So there we go, we've got bubble wrap over it. We're rushing against daylight a bit as usual, and if it were a windy day you'd never get this stuff on. It's very fractionally breezy and the stuff's all over the place. But we've sort of taped it all together, taped it to the sides of the pond, and it's not bad. We haven't taped this bit. This bit's going to be so you can feed your fish and see underneath. And it's alright, it's not too bad. It won't put up with much wind, this, I don't think. So we've got this side looking pretty good. It won't put up with much wind, this, I don't think, but what we're going to do is put a tarp over the top of it, so you know, to protect the bubble wrap. I think it'll be completely fine then. And some bubble wrap hopefully around size, because I've still got a fair bit of my roll left. So yeah, it's pretty decent, I'm quite pleased with it, and hopefully the pond will warm up a little bit, or at least not cool down any further. So there we go. So here we are with the pond. It's been a couple of days because I've not been very well, so I've sort of left it like this. Unfortunately, well, it's been a bit windy and I didn't really want it exposed to elements, so I've sort of just gone over it with this rope and to hold it all together, and it's kept it together. There's no rips in it or out like that. The bubble wrap's not the thickest, you know, I don't think it really coat with much wind, so it's done pretty well. What I'm hoping to do is go all around the sides with bubble wrap and then cover it with a tarp, so I'm going to take this rope off and get on with that. But there's a little bit of an update on the actual temperature of the pond. So even on mild days like today, the pond temperature just stay at 11 degrees, and last couple of days it's been fairly mild. I think the air temperature's like 6 to 8 degrees, something like that. But the pond stayed at 11, that's with a 2 kilowatt heater on. And I've not touched the heater, I've just left it on the last couple of days just to see what difference actually just covering it made. And the pond's had to come up to 16 degrees, which I can't believe. So if we look at the temperature thing on the drum filter, it says 16 degrees. So it's actually quite doing quite well. So this is your heater. This is my little cloverleaf 2 kilowatt heater right here, and what I will be doing is adjusting it so it keeps it about 14 degrees, and then hopefully, you know, I'll not be having a massive electric bill and it should be fine. So yeah, I've also, one thing I point out as well is the little heater that I showed you, which you can just see in there. I put it in fan mode, so it's just fanning air around, because it was quite damp inside and wet, and it seems that when it's on fan mode it just circulates it a bit nice, and it seems a bit more pleasant inside the actual thing. It's still moisture developing on here, but not as bad as what it were. It was quite damp, and the fish are just, as you can hear, you can't really see them, the fish are quite active, especially at 16 degrees they would be. So yeah, let's get on with covering it up, finishing it off. So this is what it looks like from inside. As you can see, there's a couple of fishes about. Just fed them so they're not very active at the minute, they're just eating the dinner. And yeah, seems alright. The water level's lower than I thought because I haven't been in here in a while. So look, it's gone down a couple of inches. So I need to fill it up. But it's quite nice under here. Especially now it's going dark, as you can tell it's dropping cooler and it's keeping its warmth under here though. But not the most elegant thing to get into. There we go. Put the legs on. So I've now got some legs on, just so it's not quite touching the side of the tank. 'Cause in the instructions for the tank it actually says you're not supposed to lean on the side. So probably best not to have the roof actually supported by it. Although I have tied these to the legs, so they're taking the weight, but any side to side motion from the wind is held down by the pond, I guess, the actual tank. So all I've got to do now is put bubble wrap right sides and a tarp over top. So here we are with the finished product. So I was actually going to put some tarp over it, but I just can't be bothered. Actually putting the sides on has held it together quite nicely, and it seems to be quite good. Obviously it does look a bit daft, and I could put a label on it and ship it somewhere really, but it's a bit outrageous. But as long as it stops the heater from coming on. So I have actually turned the heater down to 14 degrees and the pond stayed at 16 degrees for a day, so it's not losing temperature very easily, which is great news, as before it was. It's a bit mild, it's not that cold on a night, so we'll see if it starts to freeze on a night again, if it loses its temperature, and then hopefully the heater's just there to stop it losing too much temperature all in one go, rather than to maintain it, and then it'll save me a massive electric bill. So we're there. So it did rain last night and a little bit of water's pooled up here, as you can see. And at this side, for some reason, I think I might just put a little pinprick in it so it lets that water go into the pond. But it's a shame that actually it's not filled up anywhere else, just there, just because it's loose. And drum filter working, drum filter running. So we're done with it finally. It took me a couple of months to actually finish this. One big issue with it, it's really hard to see the fish and it's really difficult to feed them, so I need to sort that out somehow. I'll probably put a little door in it just here, cut a little hole in it or something. But yeah, it seems pretty good. There's actually a slight warmth in there compared to outside. If you put your hand up inside it, it's not freezing, it's the air temperature in there is about the same as the pond temperature, about 16 degrees, so it's pretty decent. So there you go. I know I usually end my videos with a picture of the fish, but you can't see them, so if you like this video then please like it. If you want to see more videos like this then please feel free to subscribe, and hopefully I will post some more videos. And thank you for watching. Any comments or questions, put them down below, and I shall see you in the next video.